All right, here we go. Now we are live. Awesome. So, another live event, this time from the Generative AI page. And we have many signups, a couple of thousand signups from all over the world. And I'm so excited to be here. Would love to hear where you're tuning in from. I'm sure that in some places it's so early and some places are very late. I'm grateful to have all of you here. I am based in Sydney, Australia. I'm going to do this from here, Sydney, and it's almost midnight. So would love to see if we have anyone from Sydney here watching this. But don't worry if you have missed it or your friends missed it. It's going to stay here on LinkedIn forever. So you feel free to jump back and listen again. Here we go. Let me just bring a couple of people from Madrid, from Amsterdam. Let's see. Amman. Cool. Pretty much from all over the world. Stockholm, Wisconsin, London, Finland, Morocco. Yeah, I was in Morocco a couple of months ago. Here we go. Hi, Philip. Okay. We got a lot of people from all over the world, from Zambia, Zurich, again from Spain, France, Germany, Muscat. I don't know, like I can see many people from Europe, from Asia, Singapore here, Norway, and also US and Canada. So we have pretty much an international audience from everywhere. Please comment your questions. I'll try to keep an eye on the comments as well. And hopefully we get some time to ask them after my questions, or I might even, embed it into my own discussion topics, which is about something very interesting. So we are going to talk about generative AI, agents, everything that is super relevant and interesting and trendy for good reason. Okay, we are going to make it to applications and some really useful conversations. So my guest is an awesome entrepreneur, Luca Zambello. He's the founder and CEO of Jurny. He's a pioneer in AI-powered automation for the 4.7 trillion hospitality industry. Having successfully secured over 10 million in fundings from top venture capitals, Jurny's technology is rapidly gaining traction worldwide, with thousands of hosts and operators adopting its solution. So without further ado, we are going to welcome our guest. Hi, Luca.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Before going live, we were having chat a little bit about AI, generative AI, and what's happening in, these days. Lots of news coming from everywhere. Sora just, released an interesting video clip, the balloon headman. I don't know what is it called, but it was a funny one. Really good quality. There are talks about GPT-5 coming, and this is going to have AI agents. I don't know, like that's lots of interesting conversations. Can you share some of the highlights of the things that we talked about?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I also talked about like there's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of talking about everything about AI, like all the way from the spectrum of people like full panic mode, all the way to people like completely underestimating what this technology can do. So I think today will be very, like we discussed, to cover some of these topics, and then also like really where the opportunities are, because I working with this technology firsthand, and then seeing a lot of people focus on I guess on the wrong directions. I think it will be great to clear a lot of these things today. One of the things is, I think when it comes to opportunities, especially entrepreneurs and people looking either to invest or opportunities for business, I think we mentioned that everybody is focused on large language models or on the hardware side of things, and that I think is good to clear up. That is a game that is going to be played by very few players, and probably the big players only, because you need stupid amount of capital and a stupid amount of resources. But most importantly, large AI models like LLMs are going to be very soon commoditized and fairly available to everybody, right? And so where is the opportunity going to be? We observed specifically how AI is really good when it's becoming focused at a specific task. So it's actually very hard to be a ChatGPT, right? To be able to answer a broad variety of questions and be able to be good and precise with a lot of topics, which is why we see sometimes hallucinations from these LLMs. But what we see AI really strive, and the opportunities are going to be, is being narrow focus on very specific use cases. So for example, focusing on a specific industry, focusing on proprietary data, and building proprietary infrastructure. So what I mean with this is, like, if you look at it and if you think about it, like, let's say that even tomorrow we had a LLM that had capability, humans-like capability, so even better capability than human. If you don't have an infrastructure for this LLM to actually do useful things, it becomes really not that useful, right? So for example, specifically in our industry, we focus on building an infrastructure, for example, in the hospitality industry, and having the ability for this AI to actually take actions and do specific things. In addition to that, we realize that when AI is focused on very specific tasks and a finite amount of tasks, it becomes a lot more precise and a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I mean, there are lots of opportunities for entrepreneurs and people that want to leverage AI these days. But as you mentioned, like there's one specific technology that is making a lot of noise around, and that's AI agents. Would love to hear more about like why this AI agents are very big, and what are you doing with AI agents, and how you are leveraging them.
Yeah, and I think like like we mentioned, is because AI is so good at doing specific tasks and going a little bit more on the specifics. I use what we do as a company, but this is applicable across multiple different industries, right? So for instance, I take the hospitality industry. So like, let's say hotel management, Airbnb management, right? So you have multiple different tasks that you have to accomplish as an organization. So usually you have a management software that you utilize to really organize and keep track of all these different moving parts. And usually within this organization, you have different departments that they do different things. Like, for instance, possibly speaking, you have somebody that does review management, you have a data analyst, you have somebody for concierge, you have a front desk. So these are all different people. Sometimes it's the same person that covers different roles. But even in humans, we see humans are much better at doing a finite level of responsibilities and just be really focused and specialized on those finite level responsibilities. And AI is very much the same. And so because of that, it's a lot more efficient, where you create multiple different personalities per se, that they're focused on those different tasks, just like you would have humans. So mimic, for example, within the hotel industry, we're mimicking the same org chart of a large hotel, but the majority of these personalities are actually AI agents. Obviously, you have things that you're going to have humans having to do, and have the ability for these AI agents when they cannot solve a task to escalate to a human. But as this technology evolves, and we're already seeing even with today's technology like GPT-4, when it's specialized at a single task, it becomes already for many tasks human-like, and if not even better. And so when you start creating and mimicking different hierarchies, you start having very similar behaviors of humans, and have the abilities of these agents to cover a lot of the functionalities that until now has been done by humans. So for instance, we have a front desk agent that is specialized on focus on the communications with different guests. And then this agent interprets the context of what a guest is asking. And so, for example, if he's asking information about a reservation, goes to the database agents, and that is going to be able to identify that guest and possibly modify a reservation, giving the information that are needed. It can go to the concierge agent, for example, if wants to know information like geolocations or recommendations that possibly can give. For that specific location or that specific units, the FAQ agent for frequently asked questions about that specific units if they have questions about that, and be able to have conversations with a guest, right, and with a much higher level of efficiency and precision, and then able also to escalate tasks. So not only you want to create this like separate multi-agents, but you also want to make sure that they are able to interact with one another to optimize themselves and be able to elaborate a lot more informations. And funny that we start working on this technology actually years ago, and now we see that GPT-5 specifically seems like, these are rumors, obviously, we heard that are going to do specific releases specifically for AI agents. So it's something that we're going to be hearing a lot more very soon.
Yeah, I think getting some comments that it seems that your sound is breaking every now and then. I don't know if mine is the same, but there are comments that your quality of your voice is not as good. So
can you hear me fine?
I can hear you. There are some noises every now and then, but it's not too bad for me. I'm hoping like it's the same for everyone. Just I don't know. Let me know if you can. Maybe there's an echo. No, I don't think there's an echo. I think okay. It seems that my voice is coming fine, so it's not about the software. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's
if the problem persists, I can try to remove my headphones.
Yeah. No, it should be. We will try to see how it goes, guys. I mean, it's a live event. All right. It's really, really live, as you can probably see. So things sometimes happen. But if the problem is too bad, we will think about reconnecting or doing something. Okay. You mentioned about AI agents and how you're perceiving it working together. For example, like in the hospitality environment, but then it will actually change the way that the human interact with AI, specifically through agents, and how this interaction will fundamentally change our interaction with software in general. A lot of people actually believe that this AI agents are going to replace the software or each software in general in future. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, and obviously we see how rapidly this technology is evolving. I think Elon Musk just the other day said it's going tenfold in terms of computing power and ability every 6 months, which is pretty crazy. So it's easy to be off with these predictions because timelines can be even shorter for what I'm about to say. But I think within a relatively short period of time, the first way is going to be disruptive in the way we interact with software is very fascinating, and we're seeing it for ourselves as well, especially for management platforms like a CRM or property management system within their hospitality, right? These type of large softwares today are very bound by UI UX. So they cannot have many capabilities outside of their UI UX, which oftentimes creates limitations for users because every user has a little bit different requirements. Every business is a bit different from one another. And so until today, it was hard to create applications that were good for everybody. And so people had to adapt to the software, and the software wouldn't very much adapt to them. That's about to completely change. We already seen it for ourselves. For example, like for instance, in hospitality, something is very important is reporting. And so we are actually, let me remove my headphones. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's much better.
Okay, I removed my headphones. Hopefully that wasn't a problem. So so what we see, for instance, in hospitality today is that people have different requirements for reporting. Each city has a different requirements for reporting. Each business has different requirements for reporting. And again, until today, people had to specifically select in the UI UX what type of information they wanted and how they wanted to be combined. Well, that's changing because we're already. I'm glad it's much better. Sorry about that. So we're already seeing a complete different approach to software and how people are requiring reports, because we created, for instance, like a data analyst agent, and its specialty is actually to take data about a specific business sitting on top of our platforms and having the ability to interact with that data. So for example, you can say, hey, can you give me the report? Just like you would talk to a human being, hey, can you give me a report for the last 6 months for these specific units? Or can you compare these units to these other units? How did they perform in the last 6 months? And so you can have literally an interaction with someone who can fully customize any type of reporting, almost any type of reporting. And this can happen already today with today's technology. It's just what we're missing is the infrastructure. And that's what I was talking about even with Steve. It's like this, for the first time, I think we're seeing a technology that's evolving so rapidly that the biggest thing it's missing, it's infrastructure. And that's where the biggest opportunity is going to be in general for entrepreneurs, is actually build this infrastructure. So that's one of the ways that we're going to see, like, people changing how they interact with software is going to be a lot more conversational, and future software is going to have a lot less typical UI UX, but it's going to be a lot more within either chat or voice based. And then I think the evolution of that, and I think that's what Steve was referring to when he first asked this question, is that with AGI, soon you're going to have AI have its own ability to develop software and actually create fully custom functionalities for you. And so in the future, it's going to be like humans' imagination is going to be probably the biggest limit of what this technology is going to be able to do. And you're going to be able to build software without knowing how to code or any language models, which is pretty amazing. And actually, Steve, sorry, segues to another thing that you and I discussed, which is this general misconception. A lot of people are scared of, like, okay, it's going to take away my job. It's going to take away all the jobs. There's not going to be any jobs left to do. And to that, I want to say something, that this has been said by every single technology that came. We used to be just 100 years ago, before the industrial revolution, the agriculture was the #1 job. Now it's like less than 2% of people that work in agriculture. So usually when technology comes, creates a lot of efficiency, and so makes other jobs that before were not feasible or not profitable now profitable. For instance, being an influencer could be something that people couldn't even imagine that it could have been a job, not maybe even just a decade ago, right? And now it's becoming more and more of a common job. And so other things like more philanthropic efforts and businesses that today had made no business sense because they were not scalable and they were not profitable, now they will be, because efficiency is going to just completely skyrocket in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I can't agree more. I mean, as we are getting this efficiency, I'm looking forward to abundance created by these AI, smarter and smarter AIs that are going to replace things that we do, mundane tasks that we do these days, that we are not enjoying it at all. And kind of AI is pushing us through the Maslow pyramid, upper and upper. And as we go to higher layers, then we can be more human. I guess that's the way to put it. And thinking about just like for example, Sora again, just I mentioned, it will allow a lot of people to express themselves in a way that it was only available for a couple of very niche Hollywood studios with billion-dollar budgets. And yeah, and as you said, the only limit might be our imagination and what we want to do with all these powerful technologies.
Absolutely.
So that's very interesting way to put it, I guess.
Yeah, and I think to that is, there will be disruption, right? Many industries are going to completely change. And so many people will lose their job, but there will be that many more that are going to be creative. So obviously there's always some negative. I don't want to be like, just it's only going to be positive, but there can be a lot of positive coming out of this, and people should be paying attention, because this is the type of technology that the people that pay attention will have a massive advantage compared to everybody else. A lot more than any other technology we've seen in the past. Because again, it's not, when you talk about AI, people just associate it to just simply ChatGPT, which is impressive in a way, but not that impressive in other ways, right? But this technology is already way further ahead, and companies that are really smart and know how to leverage even current existing LLMs or other large AI models can do some crazy things. And what we're not seeing is because the infrastructure hasn't been built yet. And we just around the corner, we have much stronger and more capable models about to arrive very, very, very soon.
True. And would love to hear from our audience if they are using LLMs and AI agents in a way that they would like to share with us, anything other than just using ChatGPT to generate some text. Hopefully, we have some people doing some great stuff, and this is the point that you might be able to find future connections and interesting people that might reach out to you. So please share with us if you are working on an interesting project with LLMs and AI agents. That's really good. I also would love to hear more about the future opportunities. I know you just mentioned a little bit, like what are the biggest, I guess, AI investment opportunities in the next couple of years?
Well, even before that, I want to say, personally speaking, anything you're doing, you should be paying very much close attention to this technology, and I cannot stress that enough. Look beyond what it seems and start really digging into this, because oftentimes, and you and I share this opinion, we hear a lot of people talking about this, but in reality, there's not a lot of people that know much about it. right? And really yet know how to properly leverage it. But it's there, and the few companies that are doing that, and a few people that are doing that are already taking big advantage of this. And so whatever you do, whatever you think, even if you think your job is not going to get influenced by this, or if you think your job is going to be replaced by this, AI will replace the jobs of the people that don't know how to use this technology. That I can tell you, especially if it's applicable within your sector. So that's number one thing I have to say. You want to be on top of this. And also you want to be on top of it because it's going to open up so many more opportunities. And I know change is hard for people, for everybody. I mean, unless you're a crazy entrepreneur, sometimes we like change, but change is about to come, and so we need to be looking out on how it will impact everybody's jobs. That being said, within the company side, I think we've seen obviously a lot of people investing in Nvidia, but in the stock market, there's not really much beside the tech giants. They're playing the large AI models game that we discussed. So it's really hard as of today to invest in the stock market because there's not many new companies. But I think there's very soon a big wave of IPOs of industry focused proprietary data. Just look into those niches and to companies. Again, it's not an investment advisor, I'm not a financial advisor, but by working with this in this technology, I've seen that the biggest opportunities are really people that can leverage proprietary infrastructures and data to bring functionalities that they can change completely industries. So
that's great. I mean, there are a couple of questions about your suggestions about the infrastructure. Can you elaborate a little bit more about what do you mean by infrastructure? That, like you mentioned that there are lots of opportunities in building.
Yes. So and I mentioned a little bit of this in the beginning, but I was breaking up. So I say some of this again and then some new information. But really, for instance, we were discussing within our platform, for example, there is a management software, right? Like even if you have an AI that is even more capable than a human being, if you have not built a centralized infrastructure, for instance, for this AI to be able to change pricing, check geolocation for specific properties, have the ability to look at the database and research information about the reservation, ability to make reservation changes, ability to escalate tasks to different people. That's what I mean with the infrastructure. You can have a very smart AI agent, but if you don't give the tools for this AI agent to do, or this AI model to do its job, it's not going to be able to do it, right? So that's what I really mean in terms of infrastructure. And the other one is and it has to be obviously somewhat proprietary, right? If it's easy for everybody to build an infrastructure, it's not going to be that special, but the more specialized it is, usually the better. And usually people that have been in the business long enough, that knows an industry long enough, are going to be able to build those infrastructure. And the other one is the data, right? Having access to proprietary data. For instance, I mean, a platform like, and I'm not saying that Reddit is a good or bad investment. It's not suggested, but for instance, Reddit has a lot of proprietary data that not many other people have, and it's limiting who can scrape that. YouTube, for example, is an example. I'm using large names, but those are obviously large, but there's just as many within industries niche. So, for example, it could be on the healthcare side of things. It can be within the sales side of things, in SaaS, so whatever industry you want. If they have proprietary data and proprietary infrastructure, that's where the biggest opportunities are going to be. And if it doesn't exist and you have the opportunity, you should go build that proprietary infrastructure, because not many people are looking at it that way. And again, as I said in the beginning, this technology is evolving way more rapidly than people can even have an ideas or build those type of infrastructure. So already with GPT-4, you can do some crazy, amazing stuff that we cannot see because the infrastructure has not been built. And so think about it when GPT-5 comes out. And if you are in a niche, if you are experts within an industry, and you're worried that maybe even that job is going to be taken away from you, maybe it's a time to start thinking of how you can leverage this.
That's a great point. I mean, the speed is one of the biggest challenges for people. Like literally, everything changes in a couple of months, and it's sometimes some of my friends wants to start building a POC and MVP, and they're not sure if like by the time the MVP is done, that the stacks and the project is still relevant. So that's a real, I guess, issue here. But at the same time, it's great. It's just like unbelievable the rate of development in this particular, I guess, domain, like in the AI industry. These models are competing with each other. The quality, the accuracy, the lower bias, and everything is just super helpful for us as users. And if you're builders, as you mentioned, we can leverage that, build an infrastructure, build something that would make it a defensible product and service, and either just grow it to a business or just merge and collaborate with the others.
And Steve, also to bring actual tangible data, and the advantage of, for instance, of building a specific agent that I heard many times, like, oh, I'm not going to put my business in the hands of AI when it's hallucinating. So good point. But even today with GPT-4, we have seen the difference between a network of specialized agents working together can get up to even 97, 98% accuracy, which, by the way, it's already many tasks greater than humans. So just to put things in perspective. And when you actually create more of a generic prompt to ask AI to language LLM like GPT-4 to do a specific tasks, accuracy is pretty low. We're sitting around like 75 to 80 when you do pretty good prompting and you have pretty good data. So just that's to put things in perspective, what the difference is between creating agents or not, and the difference between having an infrastructure versus not. So that's where the opportunity that is sitting today at that level of accuracy. You can already disrupt many businesses, many industries.
Yeah, that's a great point. And like I'm going to take this opportunity also to congratulate you and the team for successful raising more than like $10 million from top tier VCs like Walker Capital. That's super impressive, and congrats.
Thanks. Yeah, it's hopefully the beginning of much something a lot bigger.
Yeah, and you mentioned to me that you are planning also to pursue some crowdfunding. Can you tell us a little bit more about that space, and how can even people that are interested to reach out and invest in this project?
Yeah, so we wanted to really start building a community around us of allowing customers investing in our product and people that are fan of the product. I think we're going to see more and more this type of community-based ecosystem building within the AI space, especially as again, there's going to be at first a few companies that are going to be able to play in this game, but not everybody right away, although I think they should, and there is the ability to do so. So we wanted to really open up the round, not just to VC. So we launched the crowdfunding as well simultaneously to our round, so people can invest on top of that and be part of our journey, pun intended. Yeah, so if anybody's interested, obviously you can go on our website, jurny.com, or my LinkedIn profile has the link. But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I'm sure it's going to be an awesome ride. This is the right time for this sort of projects to start building and getting traction. I guess the the foundation is there. The LLMs, AI models, the technology has advanced far enough to be able to help us to build these AI agents effectively to help businesses and automate a lot of tasks, as you just mentioned. I think definitely hospitality industry is going to be a big one. I'm hoping that healthcare and education will follow, and there would be also great industries that would add a lot of value to our societies, and to
I think, yeah, sorry. No, Steve, I think you're saying a great thing, and I think it is normal to feel fearful about this technology because it's bringing a big change, but I think it's going to also open up an insane amount of opportunities. Let's forget about business for a second, but even from a society evolution standpoint, the ability to let's think about like research, right? Like how much research takes, and oftentimes people that have good ideas that can bring a benefit to humanity, but there's not much of a business case for it because it takes too many resources to build. All of this now it can be accomplished. So it means evolution in healthcare. It means evolutions in educations. It means evolution in so many sectors that can actually benefit humanity as a whole. Obviously, there's going to be people that are going to try to do bad, but that's with anything, right? Like
100%.
A gun can be used by the police to keep order, or it can be used for a terrorist attack. Like the tool itself, obviously, can be utilized for many aspects. But it's not necessarily the tool being bad is what humans do with it. And so I think there's going to be if humanity chooses to it, and we don't limit ourselves with what we know that the boundaries has been until today, we can do some amazing stuff with this technology.
I totally agree. I think this is a great note to sort of enter this discussion, which is, as a humanity, we need to stand together to put our efforts, their thoughts, and support for great projects that are going to add value to everyone, and essentially not only their business projects, but also they're good for the society in general. AI for good is not just AI used for environment and sustainability. It's anything that we can do with AI that brings value and it's positive. That would be AI for good. Any last thoughts?
No, just excited to see what the future is going to look like. Although we have some ideas, but I think it's again how rapidly it's evolving. The future will show us, but I'm very optimistic, and I see this as a positive overall for everybody. So I'm excited. Awesome,
thank you very much, Luca. This is going to be an interesting journey watching you, growing this awesome idea in business. And thank you everyone for joining us. Have a good day, night, evening, based on wherever geographical locations you are. See you.
Thanks, everyone.